Well, they said at 7:08 this morning, the Titan's submersible that was surveying or going to survey the Titanic wreckage, according to estimates, would be out of oxygen. And then, as of now, no sounds. We'll have a full update here shortly. But a whistleblower came forward 5.5 years ago that worked for OceanGate and actually went to the CEO and said, listen, this is not safe. I cannot approve this for any sort of manned voyage under the sea or going to see the Titanic. And they had a meeting about it. And then when he said, I will not approve this design, he was fired.
Oh, wow.
And then they both have sued each other. And then also the question is, can there be a wrongful death lawsuits if all 5 passengers end up dying? I mean, one is CEO of the company.
There were waivers that they signed, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time this has gone down under the ocean, right?
The third.
Yeah, right.
So there was 2 successful trips?
That's my understanding.
And a lot, more than a handful of canceled trips.
Oh, and apparently they've also been sued as well for people who've paid to be on, my understanding, been paid to go on OceanGate submersible. It got canceled and never got their money back. It's my understanding. I heard that, or read that yesterday. We do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. Hey, yeah, this company, man, is a hot mess. And the more you read about this submersible, the funny, it's not funny because they're probably dead. But I mean, the odd things like all the pictures that you're seeing of how they have like a game controller that they're using. It's just
right
to navigate it. I mean, it does seem like the technology was very crude, and why in the world would people want to spend that kind of money and take that kind of risk? I don't get it. But you're right, lawsuits all over the place. The CEO was being sued, who's missing, was being sued for taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from this Florida couple, and he kept putting it off and saying that sometimes it was safety reasons, sometimes it was because one of the escort ships backed out at the last minute. But these people paid, back in 2016, they paid over $200,000, almost $250,000. And at one point, they were entitled to a refund, they said, under their contract. And they say that the CEO came to their home in Florida and begged them not to pursue the refund. And instead, he talked them into signing a whole new contract that instead of having progress payments, it was lump sum up front. So they went ahead and wired him all this money. And then they just finally, in 2021, he said, okay, I'm ready for you to go on this voyage. And then for some reason at that point, I think they were just scared of it, and done. And they said, no, thanks, we're pursuing a refund. And he said, I'm sorry, the contract says no refund. And so they sued him. And it's just been filed in February. It's just been kind of sitting. I don't know why there doesn't seem to be a lot of legal action there. So now that could continue. That case could continue against the estate. It could also continue against the company. But I don't know what will be left to get from either, really, because, like you said, there's probably going to be lawsuits all over the place.
Now,
waivers were signed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if it depends. I mean, waivers hold up to a certain extent, but if there was neglect, if there was negligence, you can't typically waive that. And so, if they did something just really stupid, but if it was just in the course of, what can happen when you're down there and nobody did anything negligent, then the waiver holds and these people are screwed.
Yeah, but when you sign a waiver, if you're going to something and the waiver, for what I understand, that waiver that they signed clearly states that this is a dangerous mission and a lot of things could happen that are life-threatening. And I think it even says this is not even approved. I don't know all the details.
Somebody called it bone-chilling.
Yeah.
I think it mentioned death 3 times in 8 paragraphs.
Curling.
Yeah.
If you're going to take a risk like this per se, and clearly this is a risk and it has not been approved by the people that are supposed to approve it, but you want to do it anyways because you're a risk taker, that waiver still does not cover you after you sign it?
So a waiver covers you for any inherent danger in the event itself. But let's say you sign a waiver to go on a catamaran on a sailing trip on vacation. And because, sailing can be dangerous. There could be a storm. There could be high winds. You could capsize. But let's say what happens is the captain of the catamaran is drunk and, runs the boat aground. you didn't waive negligence. You didn't waive the captain being drunk. You waived normal dangerous stuff that can happen on a boat. And so that's kind of the example, is if they were negligent in some way. But it sounds like, I mean, from all we know so far, they, you know, whatever happened to them is probably part of the inherent risk of going this deep, you know, because of the pressure. Mm-hmm. The pressure is so unbelievable. The temperatures are unbelievable. They have to, you know, seal the people in a way that they can't escape. There's limited oxygen. I mean, all of those things. If it was just something inherent in, you know, the massive pressure on the vessel, that sort of thing, then the waiver would hold. But it's the situation where, you know, you sign a waiver for ziplining. Ziplining is dangerous. You could get hurt, right? But what if, you know, the zipline company failed to maintain the equipment, knew there was a danger, put you on it anyway? That waiver's not going to hold.
Right, or they leave some stuff out, you know, maybe the submersible.
So that waiver, as long as it says, you know, there's maybe it has to be detailed as a risk of danger because it's still unknown to us. There's been limited research. There's a possibility of this, and they start listing these possibilities. There's going to be more, probably better well protected for the company than if they said, well, you know what, we didn't tell them, but we're going to leave a few screws off the hatch here because it's. We can't find them, and we're not going to tell them.
Well, that's a really good point, though, because there was reading a quote today from Stockton Rush, the CEO and the man who designed the Titan, saying that I've cut corners. So, I mean, unless that is in the contract, isn't that considered negligence?
You mean the waiver?
Yeah, I'm sorry, in the waiver, isn't that considered negligence?
Yeah, I mean, the admission of cutting corners is certainly doesn't bode well. I mean, if you know, that's the kind of thing. Again, you're not waiving someone making dangerous decisions that are negligent, you know, that sort of thing. So it's going to depend on if, you know, these, and, you know, I mean, these families may not sue, you know, I mean, they're like, you know, uber rich folks. I mean, you know, the money doesn't bring the person back. Right. I mean, you know, I don't know. You know, they may definitely not pursue it, but who knows? I mean, there definitely seems to be a lot of openings for it. And there were other lawsuits, like you said, you know, swirling around this guy. Before this, it just seems like it was a very ill-fated concept to begin with.
It does.
The ocean is much more dangerous than people realize than deep-sea exploration.
Oh, absolutely. And they're saying one theory we were talking about, I think, off the air, one leading theory is they think that it might just imploded, which is think about that, how terrifying is that? But I can also see, like, all right, you have this guy, he has this company, and he's going to be on it with you. That you make me feel more comforted. Yeah, because you're like, oh, he's so confident he's going to be on there with us.
But yeah, the same.
And give me this tour, and the actual main part of the vessel had designs by NASA and other engineers, but then they had like the weird Camping World lights and the fake Xbox controller.
Camping World, but the things that he cut corners on, in my opinion, those would have to be the reason for the accident.
Right.
If the accident was not because of the cutting of the corner. Because what's the, is it SpaceX or what, some of these the ships not go into space? Yeah. I mean, they're dangerous. We know they're very dangerous, and they can do what they can do, but we already seen some explode, and it's the same situation, right? They're signing these waivers for this company, and if it explodes, that waiver maybe is covering a lot of that unless they specifically know. But here's what I don't understand. They already have a sub, because I was updated today about the James Cameron sub that went down there and his submersible thing, and he's went down there 33 times like it was no big deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but compared to this, so it's like, why are these people that are so rich just not using the one that already went down there 30 times? Why this new one that's only been down there once or twice?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, I think and Lisa, sorry to interrupt, I think the James Cameron was like a one-man vessel. Like there wasn't room for other. It's not like a tourist type thing.
So this is money making.
He did it for himself, and then this was, you know, to bring people down there.
But it's still.
But there's been other ones that have been safer that have gone down even further.
Yeah.
Not for the Titanic, but to the 30,000 feet, which is the deepest point of the ocean. But Lisa, also there are 10 submersibles in the world that are certified to go 12,000 feet and deeper. And the Titan was the only one that was not certified, and they don't have to be, but they refused to even go through the certification process.
Maybe that was also part of the waiver.
Yeah,
it was like we're not certified, so
we're not, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh boy!
All right, so you think if they did sue, there's some openings here, and they could win, but they might not do it because of the money and not bringing the people back. But
well, I mean, I don't think there's as many openings here as in, you know, something like, sailing or zip lining where, where you can really concretely say, okay, the danger is to a certain point, and then you can pinpoint what went wrong and if it was negligent or not. But here it's so super dangerous. And I don't know if we'll ever know what went wrong. So I think it makes it a very difficult case to get around the waiver.
Okay, got you. Well, she's awesome. She's the best. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning. If you're ever injured on your job, contact her right away. Don't wait. At hireaheavyweight.com, top 100 attorney in the entire country, which is phenomenal.